Hey, sexy crew. Welcome back to Lakeisha Sexy 40 Plus channel. Thanks for clicking on my channel. As always, it's much appreciated. I love the vibes. I love the love. Thank you for showing me so much love on part one of Tell All. Like, I took a chance to get on here on YouTube to start the series because people can be negative. So yeah, give me a big thumbs up for just getting on here, taking a chance to come and tell all about my trials and tribulations and about life, about my life, Lakeisha Sexy 40 Plus life. I hope y'all are enjoying the series. If y'all are, please give your girl a big thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. And we're gonna dive right into part two of this series. In part one, I basically left off telling my sexy crew about my youth, about me being a little girl, and talking a little about my mom. I didn't talk much about my dad because my dad wasn't a big part of my life growing up. I live in New York City, so you're gonna get New York vibes. And I'm actually sitting right in front of my window just so I can get that natural light. So bear with your girl, New York City vibes. I really didn't form a decent relationship with my father until I was a young adult. I really didn't know my father too much when I was a little girl. I knew about him, I've seen him a few times, but he wasn't consistently in my life. And why? He will say if he was still here, my dad passed away earlier this year. May he continue to rest in peace. If he was here, he'll probably say because your mom didn't let me. But that wasn't the truth. He was sick. He was a person, he was an addict, and he was sick. He wasn't taking care of himself, so he couldn't take care of me. That's bottom line to answer that question if you want to know why wasn't he in my life. Because he was sick. He was an addict and he couldn't take care of himself. However, we did form a decent relationship as a young adult, and I'm thankful for that relationship. And I miss him. I miss him much. My dad will call me early in the morning, at least twice a week. We're gonna say twice a week. And before I got off that phone, that man would make me laugh every single time. He's one of the people in my life. When I get on the phone with him, he's gonna make you crack up before getting off the phone. My dad was a woman lover. He loved the ladies. He was a big flirt. But that's why I didn't speak much about my dad in part one of my series because he wasn't really there. I really didn't have any stories to really tell or to mention him as much, I should say. Moving forward, where I left off in part one, I basically was telling my sexy crew about me not finishing high school. I actually dropped out of high school when I was 18. I signed myself out. They basically forced me to sign myself out of school. Which, if I look back, I probably didn't even have to do that. It's probably a way that I could have took night classes and did it. Because I did it for my middle son. So I know it's probably a way that I probably could have graduated. But I didn't, right? Dropped out of high school and Before I dropped out of high school, yeah, I'm gonna share this story with my sexy crew. I was 17 years old, and I had a boyfriend. We gonna call him D. I'm not gonna say his real name, but it started with a D. I had a boyfriend and he lived in Brooklyn, and your girl was smelling herself. I lost my virginity. Yeah, I'm getting deep, like deep. I lost my virginity at 16. I was my late 16. I was about to be 17, but I was 16. I lost my virginity at 16, and it wasn't from the guy I'm about to tell y'all about. The guy I lost my virginity to, I'm gonna get back to D, and when I was 17, but the guy that I lost my virginity to, was actually a friend of mine's for years. He's still considered a friend, but not because, I'm gonna be like, that's not your friend. Yo, y'all, real relatable shit over here. So I gotta watch what I'm saying too, though. I'm sorry. It's facts. He was like, that's not your friend. But until Hamo and I got together, which was 12 years ago, he was a friend. He was always a friend through all my relationships up until Hamo and I. He like, I'm not going for that friendship. But when your ex-man, nigga that broke your virginity, you like, we ain't going for that shit. But, yeah, the guy that broke my virginity is actually a long-time friend of mine, and actually one of my best friends' uncle. So, like, he stayed in my life. We was friends for a long time after, in my adult life. Like I said, I went through relationships, I had babies, got married to different men, and he still was in my life. But Hamo wasn't feeling that. And if Hamo not feeling it, I'm not feeling it either. But yeah. Moving forward to what I was about to tell my sexy crew. I was 17 years old, and I was dating this guy by the name of D, and smelling myself, girl. That's true. Y'all know how the old school parents be like, hey, as soon as you get your piece of something, you gonna start smelling yourself that you grown. That isn't that the God honest truth. Like, those that know, like them parents out there that's dealing with older children, like, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, that was real talk that they talked back in the days. Real talk. Yeah, I'm dating this guy, and I went through a little domestic violence, and well, can I say, it's domestic violence, yeah. But I hate saying it like that because your girl ain't let nobody beat on her. So I hate, but it's still domestic violence, because niggas still, the guy is still stronger than you, and so it's still domestic violence. But I went through domestic violence with him. He showed me a lot, as far as dating a guy and being with a man, and he told me that I'm not supposed to be dating anybody at no damn 17 years old. God didn't give me daughters for a reason, sexy girl. God, I got 3 boys for a reason. But we're gonna get there, to that part of life. Long story short, like I have mentioned plenty of times, my mama was tough on me. So I remember I used to work in McDonald's. That wasn't my first job. I was about to say that's my first job, but that wasn't my first job. Working in the daycare center was my first job. But I think that was my second job. But I was working in McDonald's, and I felt like I was going to school. I still was in high school. I was going back and forth to high school. I was working at McDonald's and smelling my ass. and dating this guy named D. And long story short, because my mama was in my ass, I really wasn't able to do much. Like, I still had a curfew, which I'm supposed to at 17. You know, even though, because I felt like I worked, you know, I'm feeling, at that time, I know differently now, but at that time, I feel like I'm working, you know, I'm bringing a couple of dollars in. So, like I said, I'm smelling myself. So I wanted to, I know I wanted to hang out with my boyfriend, and I wanted to lay the curfew, and wanted to spend the night at his house, and no boys wasn't spending the night at mine. So, one day I caught myself running away. Took all my belongings out the closet. Packed it up. Y'all know one of them old school suitcases? Them old time suitcases? Packed it up in 2 of them old time suitcases. Yo. I laugh now, but it's sad. Like, I wish I would have did things so differently. Growing up, wanted to smell myself and just wanted to just think I was grown too fast. Like, I get on the train, New York City transportation. If you know anything about New York City transportation, a young 17-year-old, about to be 18, because I was about to be 18, with these 2 huge suitcases, probably bigger than me, trying to get to my boyfriend's house. Why he wasn't there helping me? I know he was at work, but just still, like, why? I don't know if I just took it upon myself, like, oh, I'm running away now, I'm gonna go to his house. I forget the details of that. But I do remember my dumbass was lugging these 2 suitcases because I was living in Far Rockaway, New York at this time. My mama had got married and moved to Far Rockaway. And of course, I went with her. I was underage. And yeah, I'm trying to run away from Far Rockaway to Brooklyn with these 2 huge suitcases. Long story short, my mom came home seeing I wasn't there. I know she probably was like tweaking. I'm so sorry that I put her through that. Like, it was years ago. We all over it. But, you know, when you think about it as a parent, I'm like, you know, you shouldn't make your parent worry like that. Which at that time, I was aware of that, because I remember me calling her later on that day to let her know. I know she was home from work, so I know she knew I was gone. So I remember calling her, and I'm telling her, like, you know, you don't give me enough freedom. I want to do this, to that, and a third. Y'all could imagine the 17-year-old female smelling herself. What the hell I was saying? Probably stupid ass shit. So my mom is like, you don't have to go live with no boy. You're about to be 18. You can keep the apartment that we have. I'm like, Wasn't expecting that response, huh? Wasn't expecting that. I'm like, she's talking about the apartment in Queensbridge, because when she got married, she never left her apartment. She still kept her apartment. You know, mama dropped jewels on this girl. She dropped the jewels on this girl. You heard? I paid attention. But anyway, she told me, like, you can, I could remove my name off that lease and it could be yours. It could be your apartment. Since, you know, you grown. You got your job at McDonald's. You grown. Go ahead. Go pay your bills. Go take care of yourself. But you don't gotta go live with no man. I think that was her main concern. Like, she know, like, oh, she's trying to be grown. She took all her clothes. Oh, So you want to be grown, but you don't have to live with a man to do that. So, because D, the boyfriend, he had his own apartment. So, she like, you don't gotta live with him. Go over there, housing. I'm a matter of fact, tomorrow, Monday, whatever day it was, first day of the week, I will be removing my name off the lease and letting them know my daughter stays there. You will be 18 years old. And I believe, like I said, I figured the exact timeline, but it was like a week before I'm gonna be 18 years old. So she like, go over there. Here I go with my grown ass. Okay, word. I can have the apartment. Been struggling ever since. Moving forward, your girl did just that. I went and took care of all the necessary things that I had to take care of to have the apartment just in my name, and life started. Life started lifing for me at 18. I must admit, I had so much fun. 18 and 19 years old, I had so much fun. Oh man, I say that because it's like, I'm laughing because it's like, it's bittersweet, right? I had so much fun at 18 and 19. Big shout out. I should have said this in series 1, in part 1 of this series. I should have said this. Big shout out to my cousins, Shakim and Rasheen. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get emotional in these. I know I will probably get emotional doing this series, but I didn't get to the hard, tough stuff yet. So I didn't think I would get emotional this soon. But big shout out to my cousins. Like, they was a huge part of my upbringing, of my life. They are also my god brothers. I have mentioned that in my vlogs here on Lakeisha Sexy 40 Plus channel. They are my god brothers and they are also my cousins. But when I hear about the horror stories as an adult now, and I just hear the different horror stories about the molestation and the rape that so many of us had to go through at them sensitive years, them young years. It's so touching to me every single time I think about it. Like, I can't even imagine. I'm so thankful to them. I grew up with them. I slept in the same bed with them. I love them. Like, they taught me how a man is supposed to treat me. Like, big shout out to them. I should have said that in part 1 because, like I said, they was a big part of my upbringing. They are still a big part of my life. Favorite people, some of my favorite people. I have a few favorite people in my life, but they are definitely 2 of my favorite people. They taught me how a man is supposed to treat you, how a man is supposed to protect you. They taught me how, and when I say protect you, physically, mentally, like, they protected my mental. They protected my physical growing up. They made sure their little sister, their little cousin was good. And I will always love them for that. Always love them for that. I don't even think they know how much I love them for keeping me, for not having to have them type of stories today. because I don't have them type of stories to share. Them rape and the molestation, like I don't have them type of stories to share, and I'm so grateful to them and my mom because she protected the shit out of me too. No, you can't stay at that house. No, you can't spend the night at that friend house. No. No. And of course, at that time in my life, I'm questioning it, and I'm like, oh, she's mean, and she was protecting me. She was protecting me, and my god brother, my cousin god brothers, I call them my brothers. I refer to them when I'm talking to them or I'm referring to them. They are my brothers, or they are legally my cousins, but they are my brothers. Their mother and my father are twins, and my mother are they godmother. My mother and their mother were best friends, and I say were because their mother is no longer here. May she rest in peace. Continue to rest in peace. My auntie. Yeah, their mother and my mother was best friends. So my auntie made my mom her children godmother. So my mother was their godmother before she was even my mother. And I just wanted to say that, like, they being a big part of my life showed me how men are supposed to treat me and how I'm supposed to love myself and treat myself and respect myself as a woman. Like, moving forward or moving back to what I was saying, I moved back here when I was 18 years old, and I moved back here alone. I was living alone, 18 years old, in the biggest projects in the world. And I wasn't scared. I should have been. I kind of wish I would have been, but I wasn't scared. And I always had like a sister independency. Like, maybe that's because I was walking home by myself at 10. I was going in the house alone by myself at 12. I don't know. But I wasn't scared. And I say I should have been, not for the reasons that y'all might think. Living in the biggest projects in the world, you're not scared? What? It wasn't that. It was, I should have been scared because being an adult is hard. Being an adult is a lot. And if you're not mentally ready, it could get you. So I say that I should have been, because it would have slowed me down some. It would have slowed me down some. I would have went back to school, which I did, and we're gonna get there. But 18 and 19, a girl was, mama can't keep me locked down no more. That's how I was feeling. Who keeping me down? Wait, these my keys. I'm going in my house. Your girl was hyped at 18 and 19 years old, living alone. So when I hesitate, I kind of think about what I want to talk about, because I'm going to take parts and stories out of my life. Of course, I can't tell you everything, you know? It's too long, and it's, you know, some things you just got to keep private. However, I do want to be relatable. I do want to keep it 100. And I do want this series to be interesting. So I'm going to share. I might get criticized for sharing. Might get ridiculed for sharing, but I'm going to share. So, 18 years old, I moved back. I left my job because my job was in Far Rockaway. So I had to find another job, which I did. I found another job in a supermarket called Food Emporium. But your girl had bills, like real bills. I got my own apartment now. You got real bills. You gotta buy your toiletries, you gotta pay your telephone bill, you gotta pay your rent, you gotta keep food in this bitch, you gotta have coffee, and you also gotta stay looking good. Your girl always loved to look good. I always was into shoes and fashion. I always liked to look good. Always been getting my nails done. Always loved the fragrance. Shout out to my friend Taro. Like, we always loved the fragrance, even when we was this high. Little. We love the fragrance. So I have all these bills, and I got this, I believe at this time, $9 an hour job. And your girl got these bills. I'm gonna keep saying that. You want to be grown. You want to live out by yourself, right? So, I went to the biggest drug dealer in the projects. And I'm like, I need help. I need help. Disclaimer. I don't condone selling drugs. I don't condone doing drugs. I was 18 years old at this time, trying to make it. This is what I knew. This was what I grew up around. It's just simple as that. It's just facts, and as simple as that. Can I have done better, made better decisions? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. My 47-year-old self is saying, what the fuck was you doing? But we're gonna get back to the story. Went to the biggest drug dealer. Love this guy to death to this day. He's one of my best friends to this day. I love him. A lot of people might not like that I say that. You know who you are. But you're always gonna be my friend forever. We gonna call him Tree. We gonna call him Tree. He's tall, big, tall dude. We gonna call him Tree. So Tree, I go to Tree. I'm like, listen, I need some help. I need to make some money. What can I do? I'm not selling nobody's drugs, but what can I do? So no, I didn't sell drugs. Literally, like sell drugs, no. But what can I do? So I started working for the biggest drug dealer. What I did, but yeah. Started working with the biggest, I should say with, I can't say for, because I'm one of the biggest drug dealers, or I should say the biggest drug dealer in the 90s. And couldn't tell you girls, not long. I grow, as I stated, this project is the biggest projects in the world. I still live in Queensbridge projects. I hate saying that too, but we're gonna get to all of that. So the projects is broken up into 6 blocks, and all 6 blocks have 16 to 18 buildings. With that being said, I lived on Vernon, and Vernon was just like separate from the whole projects. No one liked Vernon, the block of Vernon, the people who lived on the block of Vernon. It's like the rest of the projects, the other 5 blocks didn't like this one block, which is Vernon. If you ask somebody why, I know a lot of people gonna tell you a whole bunch of different reasons, but I'm gonna say my reason. We had some big ballers on our block. We had some big-minded people on our block. Some people on our block that had zero tolerance on our block. So I feel like the other blocks was maybe a little intimidated of Vernon. Maybe. But I said what I have to say. I was cool with everybody in the projects. It's the projects to me. Like, I really never understood the separation of the blocks. Like, we live in the same place, you know? But with that being said, my block was a hated block. And because of that, it was just like so much shooting, so much people dying. Like, it was just a lot going on in the 90s. Would I say that this is a scary place to live? I wouldn't say that, because like it's a pros and cons to everything. Sexy Crew, I say that all the time. It's pros and cons to most things. I'm kind of proud that, I'm proud of where I come from. Like, growing up in the projects have taught me so much. Like, and I feel like it kept me safe too. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's hard for you to get robbed, for somebody just to come into your house and just rob you. Like, it's just so many good benefits for living in the projects, and it is also so many bad benefits living in the projects. And one of them is the drugs and the violence. And yeah. At 18, I was smelling myself. At 18, I was going to concerts, and I still wasn't going to school. I was working at Food Emporium. I dumped D. Me and D, I think, probably lasted, when I moved back to my apartment on my own, we probably lasted maybe, I'd say 6 months. And I'm giving that a long time because I don't want to say anything shorter and then I'll be lying. So I'd rather put more on it. So we're going to say like 6 months into me living on my own. I dumped D. I'm like the aggression, we not doing that. I feel like I'm going harder than you getting money. Like, we ain't doing that either. Like, yeah, I dumped him. And I just felt free. I feel like that was like one of the biggest issues. I just felt free. Like, remember, I felt locked down because my mama didn't let me do the things that I really wanted to do and things I shouldn't have been doing. So, yeah, I left D. I needed the freedom. I was living my young adult life on my own, and I felt good about that. And I didn't want the wait. I didn't want where you going and what time you coming home, and like, I really wish I would have waited a lot longer, because 2 years later, I had a child. So moving forward, 18, 19, I'm living that project life. I'm working with the biggest drug dealer in the projects. I'm having parties every Friday and Saturday. Respectfully too. Like, I have to say that. Like, and that's what I'm saying about growing up in the projects. One of the good benefits, because I had all good people around me. Like, we all grew up together. Because don't forget, I grew up here. I went to schools here. Elementary, junior high school, even high school, until my mama moved, got married, and moved to Far Rockaway. Then I went to Far Rockaway High School, and that's when I started out. But yeah, we was having fun, and thank God, I should say, that I was safe and I had good people around me. And I remember one incident. I'm gonna share this last incident before I started dating and getting involved in my children's father and getting married. Before I get to that part of my life, I'm gonna share this last story. And it just so happened to have something to do with the guy Tree I was telling y'all about. One of my girlfriends got into an altercation with someone out here, with another female out here, and we gonna call her Sarah, the girl. My friend that got into the altercation, her name is Tara. She gets into an altercation with this girl named Sarah. Long story short, moving forward to what it has something to do with me. When she gets into the altercation with the girl Sarah, I wasn't nowhere to be found. I'm in the hood down the block. I'm hanging out with my friend Shanice. She lived down the block from Queensbridge. It's another project a few blocks down called Ravenswoods. And she lived in that project. And I was down there hanging out with her. And long story short, my girlfriend Sarah lived in Queensbridge with me, where I live. And she got into an altercation. Of course, she calls us up. She tells us about the altercation. We come to Queensbridge. Didn't see them young ladies that night when we got back to Queensbridge. When Shanice and I got back to Queensbridge, I don't really remember what happened that night, but they didn't fight no more. Wasn't nothing else going on that night. The next day, I always was an early bird. I'm still very much so an early bird. I'm the first one outside. I'm the first one outside with the men, because the men's outside hustling. They making their money. I'm outside with the men. I remember, I think I was coming from the store. I remember coming from the store, and the young lady, Sarah, that my girlfriend Tara just had the altercation with the night before, I see her. She approaches me, and she's hostile and aggressive. And mind you, I know what happened because my friend told me what happened, but I wasn't there for what happened. Like I said, she's aggressive, she's hostile, and she's saying some things to me about what transpired the night before, and I'm kind of like laughing her off. Like, I'm the type, I'm not letting you get me mad, get my pressure all up. And if I have to fight, my energy, I'm not wasting my energy going back and forth with you, huh? Like, we not doing that. So I remember her, you know, one of those and I'm standing there and I'm just like, you know, I'm not really entertaining her. I think that's what was really pissing her off, because I'm laughing at her. I'm not really entertaining her. Tree he come walking up the block, and he like, yo, what's going on? So she like, oh, this bitch, mind you, Wasn't even there. Don't know what happened. Know what happened. I want to keep saying that because I know I heard what happened, but wasn't there for what happened. So she just needed to take her anger out because she couldn't get to my friend. I'm outside early. She see me type shit. That's her friend. We're going to take that out on the friend. That type of energy. So, Tree come like, yo, what the fuck is going on? He's always been a protector too of mine. Like, always been a protector. What's going on? What's all this on my block? You drawing attention to the block? Because he's also a hustler. Like, you drawing attention. What's good? She's like, no, this bitch. So while she's saying no, this bitch, she must have got a razor in her hand. Don't know where it came from. Didn't see it. Girl was slipping. Bet you that made me on point now. She got the razor in her hand. She talking. I don't know the razor's in her hand. She talking. I'm laughing at her. I'm turned around. I'm talking to Tree. I'm like, yo, she rousing. She went to swing. She went to swing at me, mind you. She got the razor in her hand. She went to come and she went to swing. He caught her, took her by the hand, pushed her on the floor. When she fell, the razor fell. So then I see the razor fall. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh shit. This bitch was about to bust me. I was about to have a buck 50. The fuck? So all in my head, I'm like, this is a different life. Like, you trying to cut me? And you trying to cut me for what? Long story short, Tree pushed her down. She's like, oh, why you getting involved? He's like, you ain't doing that shit to her. You know. He look at me, he like, what you want to do? He like, you need that? You need that? What you want to do? You need that heat? You need that heat? So I looked at him, I'm like, we taking it too far. She taking it far, and we trying to take it further. That's basically what he was saying. She's trying to cut you, so we trying to take it further. What's up? But I'm like, nah, I'm not, I'm not about that life. I'm not trying to, what? Anyway. So, moving forward with that situation, that got squashed, basically. They actually moved out. The girls wasn't even from here. They wasn't from the Queensbridge. So they moved. I don't know if they moved right after that happened. I'm not saying they moved because of that, but I know they wound up moving. So, what you say is tough growing up in the biggest projects in the world? Yeah, I would definitely say it is tough. However, it does definitely has its pros as well. Another altercation with me being before I started having children, before I got married, I didn't have too many. Like I stated in part 1, I could count on one hand the altercations I did have. And it wasn't many. And it's usually because of someone else. I think, I'm gonna say 2 of them was because of someone else's beef that I loved, that was, close to me. But, yeah. Girl wanna be grown at 18, move out here in the biggest projects in the world, alone. And I had to grow up, and I had to grow up fast. And of course, I was dating, and I started dating my children's father. And I'll probably leave that for part 3 of this series. And I'm probably gonna need a drink talking about that. We probably gonna have to have wine down, tequila, something video. Fuck. Sexy crew. That's a part of my life that if I could go back, I would change. I love my children. Oh, I love them dearly. However, I should have chose another baby daddy. But with that being said, we're gonna save that for part 3 of this tell-all series. And when I say it's gonna get juicy, it's gonna get juicy. I'm gonna teach you what I learned in that relationship, because that relationship actually made me better for Hamo. Yeah, for my fiance now. But I'm still scared to get married. That's something that we're gonna talk about later in the series, because that's later on in my life. And we gotta talk about that. And maybe y'all can comment down below and help your girl out. But we're gonna get into that later on, because that's later on in my life. We're gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna start up in part 3 and basically talk to my sexy crew about me becoming a mother and a wife, and yeah. And still living in the projects. But I did move when I got married. I moved to Virginia for about 2 years. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna get into it. I'm telling all in this series, so make sure you stay tuned. If you haven't hit the notification bell, that notification bell will let you know when I'm uploading a video here on YouTube. So make sure you hit that notification bell. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that red button, subscribe. Your girl is telling it all here on Lakeisha Sexy Fully Plus channel. I hope y'all enjoying this series, this tell-all series. If y'all are, please give your girl a big thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. And I'm gonna see y'all real soon in this next series. So stay tuned.